We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Jammu and Kashmir government shuts 48 tourist destinations, some of them temporarily closed as it beefs up security at the remaining spots. Raids on suspected houses continues. Carney's Liberal Party projected to win the Canadian election and form next government. Public broadcaster CBC projects Carney's victory. Conservatives on course to form a strong opposition. Spain and Portugal managed to restore around 90% of power supply after Monday's massive blackout hit the region. No firm cause yet ascertained of the blackout, which affected millions. And 14-year-old India's teenage sensation Vaibhav Suryavanshi becomes the youngest centurion in T20 cricket, shatters multiple records in an Indian Premier League game in his 35-ball ton. And big breaking news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir right now. The government has closed 48 destinations for tourists across Kashmir out of 87 destinations over security concerns. Well, according to the report, the destinations which have been closed are Yusmarg, Tusi Maidan, Doodh Patri, Aharbal, Kausanag, Bangas, Kariwan Diver, Chandigam, Bangas Valley, Bular Vatlab, Rampora, and Rajpura, Chirhar, Mundij, Hammam, Markut Waterfall, Kampu, Bosnia, Vijitop, Sun Temple, Verinag Garden, Sinthan Top, Margan Top, Akat Park, Habakatoon Point, Babareshi, Ringavali, Gogaldara, Baderkot, also Shruns Waterfall, Kaman Post also has been closed, Namblan Waterfall, Eco Park Khadniar, Sangarwani Jamia Masjid, Badamwadi, Rajori Kadal Hotel, Kanaz, Ali Kadal, JJ Food Restaurant, Ivory Hotel, Badshapal Resorts and Restaurant, Cherry Tree Resort, Fakir Gujri, North Cliff Cafe and Retreat by Stay Pattern, Forest Hill Cottage, Eco Village Resort, Dara, Astanmarg Viewpoint, Astanmarg Paragliding, Mamneth and Mahadev Hills. Well, Buddhist Monastery, Dachi Gam, Beyond Trout Farm, Fisheries Farm, Astanpura, especially Kayamgarh Resort, Lachpatri, Hung Park and Naranag. The other destinations have been provided proper security, and an official said that some of these destinations have been closed temporarily. Meanwhile, raids on suspected houses continued for the second week. And Vishal Baristo joins us from Srinagar for more on this. Well, Vishal, what is the current situation on the ground in Kashmir following the closure of over 50% of the tourist destinations, and how are the local businesses and residents reacting to these measures?
Well, a very good morning to you, Lipakshi. You've already read out the detailed list of the 48 tourist destinations out of 87 that have been closed down because there has been a steep decline in tourism, and because of preventive measures, the combing operation, keeping in mind the combing operation and also the investigation by the NIA and the J&K police, these preventive measures have been taken by the Jammu and Kashmir police. Let me repeat, it is the step taken by the Jammu and Kashmir police, and the rest have also been provided proper security arrangements. Some of them have been temporarily closed. On Sunday, we did live with the tourists at the Dachigam National Park, which is the world famous national park. And there the tourists were coming because it was Sunday. And but today we are getting to hear that even the Dachigam National Park has been closed. This is beyond the trout farm. Remember that trout farm is very famous for its fisheries of trout fishes, and people do go and buy fishes from there, and that is a fisheries farm. So preventive measures, taking all adventure activities in the higher ranges, have also been put on hold for security reasons, because it's been 6 days now that Pakistan continues to violate the ceasefire on the line of control. So it is trying to keep our Indian army busy, trying to infiltrate more terrorists, or maybe trying to bring back those already involved in the Pahalgam killing. So this is the breaking news just coming in. 48 resorts out of 87 have been closed for security reasons. Lipakshi?
Yes, Vishal, almost 50% of the tourist destinations there ordered to be closed. Also, can you provide any insight into the ongoing raids on the suspected houses right now?
Well, suspected raids are being carried out because we need to flush out the insiders and overground workers. 191 people have been so far detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police, and they are being interrogated. And on information received by them, houses of 10 active terrorists from Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed have also been razed down to the ground to give a clear message to the enemy across the border that India is not going to take this act lightly, and all efforts are being made to punish the guilty. You heard the Prime Minister saying yesterday. The Defence Minister Rajnath Singh also held a meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So a lot of discussions are going on. Hectic parleys are on there in Delhi. Also at the international level, India has also provided proof to the United Nations. You heard our diplomat saying that Pakistan has been unmasked time and again. You heard the Pakistan Foreign Minister's interview to foreign media saying that Pakistan has been doing it for the last 3 decades, 30 years. So they accepted timid. That was quite a timid defense. But India is going all out to avenge the killings of 26 innocent people. Lipakshi?
Absolutely. India is going all out there. Vishal, also, given that some destinations are reported to be closed only temporarily, is there any timeline or criteria mentioned by the officials for reopening them, or how is this impacting, the whole thing impacting the tourism ahead of the summer season?
Well, the tourism sector already took a beating because of this dastardly attack. The tourist numbers have already gone down. Though they are still there, some of them, they are still coming in. But because of security reasons and because of the ongoing combing operation, I beg your pardon, this step has been taken. No deadline has been given, but because of security reasons, 48 out of 87 have been closed down. Some of them have been restricted, like you cannot go to Dachigam National Park beyond the trout fisheries farm. And this is all being done for the safety and security of the people, because there are intelligence inputs that a lot of overground workers would be helping the terrorists who are being hounded by the security agencies, and because of security reasons these measures are taken. These are temporary measures, but the guideline does not stipulate the time. As of now, 48 out of 87 have been closed down.
All right.
More because there has been a steep decline in the number of tourists, and also because of the security reasons.
All right, Vishal, thank you so much for all those details from there, and we'll keep taking more updates from you throughout the day. Well, a disturbing video capturing the Pahalgam terror attack has surfaced on social media, showing the chilling moments when terrorists attacked Basiran Valley on April 22nd. The footage, accidentally recorded by a tourist riding a zip line, shows people fleeing in panic as gunfire erupts. Rishi Bhatt, the tourist, said he narrowly escaped because he was midair on the zip line when the terrorist opened fire. Well, towards the end of the video, a body can be seen lying motionless on the ground. And according to reports, the National Investigation Agency has taken the zipline operator in for questioning. And India launched a scathing critique of Pakistan at the launch of the Victims of Terrorism Association Network in the United Nations. Beginning the statement by mentioning Pahalgam terror attack, India's Deputy Envoy to UN, Yojana Patel, reaffirmed that India has been a victim of cross-border terrorism. Taking a dig on Pakistan Defence Minister's remarks, she said Pakistan is a rogue state and Pakistan Minister's confessions on his country's support to terror surprises no one.
The whole world has heard Pakistan's Defence Minister Khwaja Asif admitting and confessing Pakistan's history of supporting, training and funding terrorist organizations in a recent television interview. This open confession surprises no one and exposes Pakistan as a rogue state fueling global terrorism and destabilizing the region. The world can no longer turn a blind eye. I have nothing further to add.
Well, the Parliamentary Committee on Defence met on Monday under chairmanship of Radha Mohan Singh. In a social media post, Radha Mohan Singh said that before the commencement of the proceedings, the committee expressed deep anguish and condemned the Pahalgam terrorist attack. Also, the members of the committee observed 2 minutes of silence to express solidarity with the victims and their bereaved families. Besides, the committee took oral evidence from the representatives of the Ministry of Defence in connection with the examination of the subject titled A Review of the Resettlement Policies, Healthcare Facilities and Avenues for Ex-Servicemen. Also, the Indian diaspora in France has organized a peace march in solidarity with the victims of the Pahalgam terror attack. In front of the Eiffel Tower, Indians expressed their anger against terrorism. They also showed their faith in the government and appreciated its efforts.
26 innocent tourists lost their lives in Pahalgam terror attack. India is shaken again. Indians are in deep grief again. Whole world is condemning this coward attack. And Indians from all over the world are standing firmly with the victims and with nation. I'm here in Paris, right in front of the Eiffel Tower, where Indian diaspora has organized peace march in support of the victim and against terrorism.
भारत माता की एक बात ख्याल रहे कि यहाँ पे जो भारत हमारा है ना उसको प्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं तो भारत हम
No one here is from any particular state or any particular organization. Everyone gathers here is just as an Indian. We can see children, professional, youngsters and senior citizens as well. They are carrying messages that we are standing firmly against terrorism. They are holding Indian flag. They are showing their support to India and victims' family.
Like whenever I used to see that lady like just sitting down and husband lying down, it was very terrific and very emotional. And we are just here to support, and that's it, nothing.
Innocent bloodshed is not at all acceptable and not justified in any philosophy, in any terminology, for any cause in the world, in this civilized society.
My condolences to all the families who are involved with this, and I really hope this ends and India is against terrorism, and it means unity in diversity. Thank you.
So terrorism is a big no-no. I think we are fully confident with the competent authorities of India. We stand together with everybody and we hope that there is some solution to this sooner than later.
Like Paris, Indians from every corner of the world showing and saying, no matter how far we are from our land, we still can feel the pain of victims, their family and friends. And they are saying, they are showing, we are here standing firmly for peace, for justice and for the nation. Rohini Goswami in Paris for DD India.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. Piyush Goyal in London to boost India-UK trade ties, meets key business leaders and pushes FTA talks. Indian student found dead under mysterious circumstances in Canada, investigations initiated. And stage set for Waves 2025 in Mumbai. Amitabh Bachchan shares his excitement ahead of the mega entertainment summit. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, in the aftermath of the recent Pahalgam terrorist attack, India has taken strong measures against Pakistan, including the revocation of 14 categories of visas previously granted to Pakistani nationals. Pakistani visitors to India admitted on medical visa must exit by today, that is April 29th. The visa revocations took place in a staggered manner, with SAARC visas expired on April 26th, medical visas expiring on April 29th, and all other visas expired on April 27th. Well, the diplomatic and official visas will, however, remain valid, with any deadline to exit India to be decided by the Ministry of External Affairs. Also, long-term visas issued to Pakistani citizens will also remain valid. There shall also be no restriction on the issue of new diplomatic and official visas on long-term visas. And we're joined by Gurmeet Singh from Attari border for more on this. Well, Gurmeet, how is the atmosphere at the Attari-Wagah border following India's revocation of multiple categories of Pakistani visas, particularly with the exit deadline for medical visa holders ending today?
Lipakshi, as we already know that today is the last day for all the Pakistani nationals carrying medical visa for them to leave and exit the country. So right now the immigration and custom counters at integrated checkpost have opened up, and a lot of Pakistani nationals have already been given entry inside the immigration office. You are seeing the visual of Attari border right here in front of me. The very first, there is a barrier. So if any Pakistani nationals come towards the barrier, so their passports are being checked up over here. After that, they are given signal to go ahead towards the integrated checkpost over there. At the left side, you can see there are few vehicles lined up, packed up with the luggages of the Pakistani nationals who are waiting for their turn to come up at the immigration counter at integrated checkpost. So if we compare it with the last 5 days, the turnout of the Pakistani nationals is quite high, and it was already expected that since today is the last day, so medical visa holders, Pakistani nationals, may reach in the large number today. So as expected, a lot of the Pakistani nationals, they are reaching here to cross over the border. And if we go to the numbers, the tally of the Pakistani and Indian nationals, that is constantly increasing. By yesterday evening, the Indians who were living in Pakistan, they have crossed over the border and come back to India. The number is somewhere about 1120, and the Pakistanis who were living in India and crossed over the border by yesterday evening, the number is somewhere about 677. So this number is being predicted to again increase, and the Indians who have crossed over the border, the number of the Indians may increase till 1300 or 1400, and the expectation is that the Pakistani nationals who have crossed over the border, who will cross over the border by today evening, the number may increase somewhere beyond 800.
All right, Gurmeet, you're right there at the Attari border. What has been the response from the Pakistani nationals at the border, especially those affected by the visa cancellations, and how is the ground situation there being managed?
See, the Pakistani nationals who have come here, we have talked to a lot of them, and what they are saying is that they are certainly not happy while they have to go back to their country before expiry of their visa. But at the same time, they are very much condemning the attack on the Indian citizens in Pahalgam, and they are saying that whatever happened in Pahalgam is condemnable and can never be accepted by anyone across the globe. So they are not happy, certainly, but at the same time they are saying that they are very much supporting the cause of the people and they are in support of the humanity. At the same time, we would like to inform our viewers, yesterday evening another development took place at the Atari border. An Indian woman who was there in Pakistan on the visa to meet her relatives at Lahore. So she expired unfortunately over there due to an accident, and after that the family back at Delhi was informed and the whole family reached here yesterday afternoon, and the BSF and the Custom and Immigration authorities were contacted. After that the Indian authorities contacted the Pakistani authorities and there was no confirmation by the Pakistani immigration side till yesterday 10 p.m. and after that there was the confirmation of the lady's dead body to be brought in from the Pakistani side. So the dead body of that Indian lady was brought back yesterday late evening, and we just talked to the family of the deceased. The family is in the state of grief. So right now what we are witnessing at Atari border is the large number of turnout of the Pakistani citizens who are exiting the country at the moment.
All right, Gurmeet, thank you so much for all those details from the border itself. And moving on now, Indian Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal is in London for 2 days of discussions aimed at strengthening bilateral trade and investment relations. In his latest series of engagements there, the minister met chairperson of Revolut, Martin Gilbert. They exchanged views on the immense opportunities in India's fintech ecosystem and the importance of partnerships with global players to drive innovation and growth. Piyush Goyal also met CEO of De Beers Group AI Cook and his team to explore global trends in the gems and jewelry sector. They discussed India's opportunities, sustainable practices and growth prospects for the diamond industry. Later, the Commerce Minister interacted with members of the Indian business delegation over dinner. They discussed the robust growth of India's industry and avenues for greater collaboration with the UK for mutual prosperity. Also, beginning his London visit, Goyal held a productive meeting with his UK counterpart, Jonathan Reynolds, to advance free trade agreement negotiations and a reinforcing commitment to deepen India-UK economic ties. And in a tragic incident, 21-year-old Indian student Vanshika Saini has been found dead under mysterious circumstances in Canada. Reacting on the news, High Commission of India in Ottawa said, and I quote, "We are deeply saddened to be informed of the death of Vanshika, student from India in Ottawa. The matter has been taken up with concerned authorities and the cause is under investigation as per the local police. We are in close contact with the bereaved kin and local community associations to provide all possible assistance." Well, Vanshika was pursuing higher education in Ottawa for the past 2.5 years. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in Yugma conclave today at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. Yugma, meaning confluence in Sanskrit, is a first of its kind strategic conclave convening leaders from government, academia, industry and the innovation ecosystem. It will contribute to India's innovation journey, driven by a collaborative project of around 1,400 crore rupees with joint investment from the Wadhwani Foundation and government institutions. In line with Prime Minister's vision of a self-reliant and innovation-led India, various key projects will be initiated during the conclave. The conclave aims to catalyze large-scale private investment in India's innovation ecosystem, accelerate research to commercialization pipelines in frontier tech, strengthen academia, industry, government partnerships, democratize innovation access across institutions and foster a national innovation alignment towards Viksit Bharat at 2047. And the much-awaited Char Dham Yatra in Uttarakhand is set to begin on the auspicious occasion of Akshaya Tritiya starting April 30th. As part of the rituals leading up to the event, the Panchmukhi idol of Lord Kedarnath was ceremonially sent off to the shrine. Before embarking on the journey, a special worship ceremony was held at the Omkareshwar temple in Ukhimat, Uttarakhand. School children and residents lined the streets to welcome the Doli with devotion. According to the schedule, the Doli will proceed to Khata on Tuesday and then will move to Gauri Kund on Wednesday. On Thursday, it is expected to reach Kedarnath Dham. Marking the start of the Yatra, the Kedarnath temple doors will open for devotees at 7 a.m. IST on Friday. And taking a page out of India's midday meal scheme, Indonesia rolled out a program to feed millions of school children free, nutritious meals daily. Besides improving health and boosting school attendance, this program also lifts a heavy weight off the parents. For children of low-income households, this is often their most complete meal of the day. Chandni Vasandani in Jakarta gets us this report.
It's just past 11 a.m. at this middle school in Jakarta. For these students, it's also time to collect their lunch trays, part of the government's free nutritious meal program. 4 months since it kicked off in early January, the program is now estimated to have reached 3 million school children. With meals being overseen by the newly formed National Nutrition Agency, the $4.3 billion program aims to improve nutrition among children and boost educational outcomes.
Mereka juga merasa bersyukur ya dan berterima kasih juga karena setiap hari mereka dapat makan bersih gratis yang biasanya mungkin harus beli, akhirnya uangnya kan bisa ditabung atau buat beli yang lain. Yang jelas anak-anak kita mendapatkan banyak manfaat dari MBK ini, orang tua juga senang gitu ya.
Experts say while this program is positive, it must be accompanied with a long-term political commitment to ensure it truly lasts. Others have also pointed out that the program might have greater impact if it had first prioritized Indonesia's poorest and most vulnerable regions, where food insecurity is most urgent.
So if we start small and more targeted to, for example, people, children and pregnant mother in Papua or other vulnerable communities, I think it can be, it can have more impactful outcomes rather than you do like at a big scale and yeah, like right now.
Earlier this year, President Prabowo told Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi he would send a team to study India's successful midday meal scheme to help ensure the success of Indonesia's own nutritious meal program. In the wider scale, this program also targets children under the age of 5, breastfeeding mothers, and pregnant women, eventually reaching 82 million recipients by the end of this year.
Well, the stage is all set with the World Audiovisual Entertainment Summit or WAVES 2025, which will take place from May 1st to 4th in Mumbai. Let's listen in what legendary actor Amitabh Bachchan has to say about this mega event.
नमस्कार। आज भी लोग मुझसे पूछते हैं कि सिनेमा का असली मकसद क्या है। मैं कहता हूं कि सिनेमा सिर्फ एक कहानी नहीं, एक एहसास है जो दिल तक जाए, जो यादों में रहे, ये दुनिया को जोड़ दे। वर्ल्ड ऑडियो विजुअल एंड एंटरटेनमेंट समिट वेव्स इज द नेक्स्ट चैप्टर ऑफ दैट जर्नी, जहां सिर्फ एंटरटेनमेंट ही नहीं, एक नया युग लिखा जाएगा। तो क्या आप इस कहानी का हिस्सा बनने के लिए तैयार हैं?
And still to come in GT India News. US automakers have a sigh of relief as President Trump's administration mulls reducing the impact of his automotive tariffs. Better days ahead for Texas farmers as Mexico plans increase water shipments to Texas. Aiming to challenge Elon Musk's Starlink dominance, the first batch of 27 satellites for Amazon's Kuiper broadband internet constellation launched into space from Florida.
नमस्कार। आज भी लोग मुझसे पूछते हैं कि सिनेमा का असली मकसद क्या है। मैं कहता हूं कि सिनेमा सिर्फ एक कहानी नहीं, एक एहसास है जो दिल तक जाए, जो यादों में रहे, ये दुनिया को जोड़ दे। वर्ल्ड ऑडियो विजुअल एंड एंटरटेनमेंट समिट वेव्स इज द नेक्स्ट चैप्टर ऑफ दैट जर्नी, जहां सिर्फ एंटरटेनमेंट ही नहीं, एक नया युग लिखा जाएगा। तो क्या आप इस कहानी का हिस्सा बनने के लिए तैयार हैं?
Connecting creators, connecting countries. Waves 2025.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, big news coming in from Canada. Leader of the main opposition Conservative Party has conceded defeat as local media projects mark Carney's Liberal Party winning the elections and forming the next government. As per projection, Liberals' win represents a remarkable turnaround for a party that was languishing in the polls just 3 months ago before Carney replaced Justin Trudeau as leader and US President Donald Trump imposed tariffs and upended relations. Also, how to respond to Trump has been the defining issue of the campaign, and he weighed in earlier, repeating his calls for the nation to become the 51st US state. And now let's go live across to Canada where Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is speaking.
Et ça prend du temps. Surtout, ça veut dire qu'on peut jamais lâcher. Parce que notre pays et son peuple méritent qu'on se batte pour eux. I will never give up on fighting for everyone who stood with us today and the millions of people who voted for other parties. And so, my message tonight, for the single mother working 2 jobs but still has an empty fridge and an empty bank account. For the young people who despair at never being able to afford a home. For the seniors on fixed incomes whose savings are eroded by inflation and no longer feel safe in their local neighborhood parks. For those who are now living in fear and terror because of crime. For those worried about losing their jobs because of unacceptable tariffs from the United States of America. For all of those who feel left behind and forgotten, my message is one of hope. Change will take time, but we will fight for that change, and we will deliver that change, and we will never give up on fighting for the great Canadian promise that anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, that hard work gets you a great life in a beautiful house on a safe street protected by our brave troops under our proud flag. Canada first.
Well, we were watching live from Canada where the Conservative leader was addressing, and now we are joined by Tarun Paul Singh, who joins us from Ontario. Well, Tarun, Mark Carney's Liberal Party being projected to have won the Canadian election, though Liberals have known to win 157 seats, some 15 short of majority. What next can we expect, and how can we see this moving ahead?
Right now, what you see, it says 157, but right now it's 164. But it's really chaos here in Canada. And the main spoil sport is city of Brampton right now. Whether it's city of Brampton, whether Brampton North, Brampton Centre, Brampton East or West, everywhere right now, Liberal is struggling a lot. It was known that the Brampton is the main focus area and in which they would easily win the elections. But they are struggling here in Brampton. And moreover, certain main focuses have also been raised here. Conservatives are winning. The new candidates of the Conservative, they were not even on the race or in the polls also, but they are on the forefront right now. Carney will be able to make a government with the NDP or by himself also, but right now it's totally chaos here in Canada.
All right. Also, now that the Liberal Party takes the lead, what are the expectations of the people, especially from Mark Carney?
Expectations remains the same here right now. Affordability, housing, working for the immigrants. These are the main focuses which has always been taken care. While talking with the community people, they said that the youth should also be given the main focus here because youth are struggling regarding the jobs. More than international students, working professionals, they are struggling for the jobs. So they think that Mark Carney will work on it. Mark Carney has a great repo because he has worked with Bank of England. He was able to take out the depression and everything. The focus has been kept on Mark Carney, and they think that affordability, housing will be taken care by him. And they think that it would be worked in the favor for the Canadians.
Also, Tarun, we'll tell our viewers, meanwhile, that the visuals you are seeing up on your screens right now are the live visuals from there where Mark Carney is about to address. In fact, Tarun, we would also like to know that what factors contributed most to Mark Carney's dramatic turnaround in public support?
I must tell that till January, it was Conservative who was winning the election for sure. Suddenly, when Justin Trudeau took the resignation and Mark Carney was elected, the whole system changed here. The people thought that Mark Carney has a repo. He has worked for Bank of England. He has taken out the system from the depression and for the economy. He has worked for it. So that became a very good factor for him. Plus the US tariff, that also played a huge role. Trump tweeting about Mark Carney that he would be great leader for Canada and that he's in coordinated relationship with Mark Carney. That also became the positive point for a lot of Canadians. They thought that Mark Carney will be a great leader, and they are hopeful that when he becomes the party, when he became the Prime Minister, that he will work for the Canadians and he will work for the people here.
All right, Tarun, also, how has Trump's tariff war and annexation claims actually changed the face of elections there?
When we talk about Trump tariffs, there was a lot of stuff which was going on between back and forth between the US and Canada. And US-Canada relation plays a huge role, whether it's for the growth or for everything. But when Trump applied tariffs for around 25% on automobiles and everything, what it was heard and what was there on the news that Mark Carney specially called Trump and said that we should be in contact, we should be in touch with it, we should work on it so that both US and Canada should be in a good relationship.
Right.
Instead, if we talk about that, Pierre Poilievre has a different standing. He keep on criticizing Trump, and Trump also tweeted that he's against Pierre Poilievre. And right now, Pierre Poilievre is losing on his seat right now.
All right, Tarun, thank you so much for all those details from there. And moving on now, Spain has declared a state of emergency after a massive power cut hit large parts of the country, and Portugal causing widespread disruption. Well, Spain's interior minister deployed 30,000 police across the country to keep order as governments from the two countries convened emergency cabinet meetings. Authorities were yet to establish what had caused the blackout and were not ruling out any hypothesis after the power outage. Well, the power started returning to parts of the Iberian Peninsula late on Monday after a huge outage brought parts of Spain and Portugal to a standstill, grounding planes, halting public transport and forcing some hospitals to suspend routine operations. In an evening address, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said Spain's grid operator had restored electricity supplies to about half of the country and insisted there was no indication of a cyber attack.
Lo que respecta a las causas,
what has caused this sudden disappearance of supply? This is something that specialists have not yet been able to determine, but they will. And the relevant state institutions and all private operators are working together to understand what has happened. All potential causes are being analyzed. I insist again, without ruling any hypothesis, any possibility.
Y las instituciones del Estado competentes.
And moving on, U.S. President Donald Trump's administration will move to reduce the impact of his automotive tariffs on Tuesday by alleviating some duties imposed on foreign parts and domestically manufactured cars and keeping the tariffs on cars made abroad from piling on top of other ones. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick hailed it as a major victory, rewarding manufacturers who build in America while offering flexibility to those pledging future investments. The decision comes after fierce lobbying by automakers, warning that 25% tariffs on imported parts could cripple the industry, hiking car prices, slashing dealership sales and sparking costly service delays. A letter from giants like GM, Toyota and Volkswagen urged urgent action, warning that fragile suppliers could collapse, halting production lines nationwide. As Trump heads to Michigan, the heart of U.S. auto manufacturing, this concession marks a critical step in averting economic chaos. And China on Tuesday blamed U.S. tariffs for Beijing's decision to stop accepting new aircraft from aviation giant Boeing, saying the levies had disrupted the international air transport market. In a statement, China's Commerce Ministry said that the United States' wielding of tariffs has severely impacted the stability of the global industrial chain and supply chain. New U.S. levies soaring as high as 145% triggered China's retaliation with 125% duties. Boeing CEO confirmed that the Chinese airlines have stopped accepting jets, a blow to plans for 50 scheduled deliveries in 2025. As President Trump slammed Beijing for breaking the deal, China's Commerce Ministry struck back, urging America to restore stability for global trade. And in a breakthrough agreement, U.S. Agriculture Secretary Buck Rollins announced on Monday that Mexico will increase water shipments to Texas, addressing a long-standing shortfall under a 1944 water-sharing treaty. Mexico's failure to meet its obligations had left Texas farmers struggling with drought conditions cited as the cause. After intense negotiations, Rollins confirmed Mexico would boost water flow from international reservoirs and Rio Grande tributaries to fulfill its treaty requirements by October. Well, the agreement, hailed as a significant step forward, also reflects Mexico's ongoing efforts to mitigate potential shortages. U.S. officials praised Mexico's cooperation while ensuring that water for human consumption remains a priority. The deal marks a rare moment of cooperation in the ongoing struggle over water resources. And the first 27 satellites for Amazon's Kuiper broadband internet constellation were launched into space from Florida on Monday. Well, the batch of 27 satellites was lofted into space at 7 p.m. local time from the rocket company's launch pad at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. After a weather delay earlier this month, the Kuiper Atlas 1 mission marks Amazon's bold move to challenge Elon Musk's Starlink dominance. With the $10 billion investment and plans for 3,200 satellites, Amazon is racing to reshape global internet access. Project Kuiper, led by Jeff Bezos' tech empire, promises affordable connectivity, aligning with Amazon's low-cost reputation. Also, as Amazon joins an increasingly crowded low Earth orbit alongside Starlink, OneWeb and China's Guowang, the battle for space-based internet heats up. Over 80 more launches are planned, signaling a new era of fierce competition overhead. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Aadhaar powers India's digital leap with record 2,707 crore transactions. Massive power outage forced in the suspension of Madrid Open tennis matches.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. On to some business news now. In a significant milestone reflecting the growing digital trust in India, Aadhaar authentication transactions surged past 2,707 crores during the financial year 2024-25. Well, in a statement, the Minister of Electronics and IT said that the rising adoption comes alongside a record-breaking 44.63 crore eKYC transactions completed in March 2025 alone. Well, Aadhaar has been an enabler of digital economy, and the increasing adoption shows its growing role across sector, including banking, finance, telecom, and the artificial intelligence machine learning-based Aadhaar face authentication solution developed in-house by UIDAI have been witnessing significant growth. Also, over 100 entities, both in government and private sector, are using face authentication for smooth delivery of benefits and services. Also, the S&P 500 ended flat on Monday after a volatile day as big tech stocks dragged it down and investors waited for major economic reports and earnings from top U.S. companies. Mega caps, Nvidia and Amazon were the primary drags on the benchmark S&P 500 index and also served to keep the Nasdaq in check. Of the so-called magnificent 7 heavyweight companies, Amazon is scheduled to report quarterly results later this week, along with Apple, Meta Platforms and Microsoft. S&P 500 gained 3.43 points to end at 5,528.37 points, while the Nasdaq Composite lost 17.35 points to 17,365.59. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 111.29 points. Well, you're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sports news. 14-year-old India's teenage sensation Vaibhav Suryavanshi on Monday rewrote history books as his sensational 35-ball 100 shattered multiple records. Rajasthan Royals batter became the youngest centurion in men's T20 cricket ever at just 14 years and 32 days. He became second fastest player to an IPL century, sitting just behind Chris Gayle in the list of fastest IPL centuries. Suryavanshi also became the fastest Indian, breaking Yusuf Pathan's 37-ball record set in 2010. Also, his 101-run knock, which included 8 fours and 11 sixes, helped Rajasthan defeat Gujarat Titans by 8 wickets. Chasing a daunting target of 210, Suryavanshi and Yashasvi Jaiswal put on a whirlwind 166-run opening stand in just 11.5 overs, dismantling the Titans' attack, boasting Mohammad Siraj, Ishant Sharma, Prasidh Krishna, Rashid Khan and Sai Kishore. And now let's go live back to Ontario in Canada, where Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's wife is speaking after the election results.
By the passion, the commitment and the kindness and belief that we have encountered, not to mention the beauty and diversity of this amazing country. as we've traced a path from winter into spring. Through all this, I've watched my husband listen and learn. I've watched him inspire confidence and take on new skills. But most of all, I've seen him remain true to what he's always been: consistent, compassionate, loyal, and driven by an exceptionally strong set of values. He's thoughtful, respectful, and honest. And I think and hope that you now have come to appreciate that alongside his capacity for dealing with the most serious of matters, he has a great mind for trivia, a wicked sense of humor, and a wonderful smile. He's been that way since our very first date, back when we were young grad students, when we went to that dinner, and he said to me, he stopped the conversation, and he said to me, "I want you to know I'm committed to move back to Canada and to work in the public service." So here we are. As his partner, I could not be more proud of him. And as a Canadian, I'm so thankful that the man I met more than 30 years ago has held tight to that strong commitment to service. I'm lucky to have him. We're lucky to have him now more than ever. Without further ado, it's my great pleasure to introduce my husband, the Prime Minister who will make Canada strong and Canada forward.
That is Nepean. That is the spirit of Nepean behind me right there. Thank you. Bonsoir tout le monde. Bonsoir. Oh, quel bonsoir. C'est une bonne bonsoir. I have a question. Who's ready? Who's ready? Who's ready to stand up for Canada with me? And who's ready? Who's ready to build Canada strong? Okay. Avant de commencer, je voudrais féliciter les autres chefs de parti, de leur campagne et de tout le travail qu'ils ont fait. Je les remercie pour leur service envers le Canada, maintenant et dans le futur. I want to thank the leaders of the other parties. I want to salute the contribution of Jagmeet Singh. I noticed his remarks. Leading on progressive values. Elizabeth May, who will be returning to Parliament. Yves-François Blanchet. And I want to congratulate Pierre Poilievre on a hard-fought, fair, good campaign, his commitment to the country that we both love. They all have many, many more contributions to our land. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Diana, for your work on this campaign. Thank you, Diana, for the commitment and compassion you bring to everything that you do. Tonight simply would not have been possible without you and without the support of our 4 children who inspire me to service every single day. I also want to salute the women and men who put their name on the ballot from all parties. Thank you for standing up to serve our country at this critical time. And for those who were elected, particularly those Liberals who were elected, looking forward to working together to deliver for Canadians. This is Bruce. And Bruce, yes, Bruce Vanjo. I'm looking forward to working with Bruce Vanjo. Fantastic. He will be a great MP. We're going to have fun tonight. Yes, we're going to have fun. Bien sûr, je tiens à remercier les milliers de bénévoles ici ce soir et à travers le pays qui ont donné de leur temps pour cogner au port, pour faire des appels, pour échanger avec leurs voisins et les membres de leur communauté, pour nous donner un gouvernement fort. C'est ça. You know, I chose to enter politics because I felt we needed big changes in this country. But big changes guided by strong Canadian values. Values that I learned at the dinner table from my parents, Bob and Verley, and from my siblings. I appreciate this more in retrospect from my siblings. My siblings, Brenda, Sean, and Brian. Values that I learned on the ice from my coaches. Values that have been reinforced as I've met with Canadians across this great country. And those include three values that I want to highlight this evening. Humility. It's Canada after all. Ambition. It's Canada after all. And unity. It's Canada.
All right, you were watching live from Ontario in Canada, where Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's wife was speaking after the election results. She said she was extremely proud and she said the nation was lucky to have him. In fact, Mark Carney also spoke after the election results. He asked the crowd that who was ready to build Canada strong. He thanked the leaders of the other parties and congratulated the opposition leader also for the good campaign. He thanked his wife profusely also for being there and thanked the people for electing him. He said he was looking forward to work and deliver. He said he chose politics as he wanted to bring in good changes and values, those he learnt in his childhood. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.